It's a slow news day for the Falcons, so let's take a closer look at Leonard Floyd's recent press conference. A few quotes stood out, and one in particular caught my attention. His goal for the 2025 season. Floyd made it clear he's aiming for the highest sack total of his career. That's exactly the kind of production head coach Raheem Morris and general manager Terry Fontenot would love to see. His personal best? 10.5 sacks with the Rams back in 2020. But if you look at his career, his best years have come later rather than earlier. His early seasons with the Bears, who drafted him in the first round in 2016, weren't as productive. Now at 32, he seems to be improving with age. If he can hit 11 sacks, Falcons fans would be thrilled. But even 10 sacks would be a huge deal for this team. Why? Because it's been a long time since an Atlanta defender reached double-digit sacks. The last time it happened? Vic Beasley in 2016, when he racked up 15.5 sacks. Think about everything that's happened in the world since then. 3 presidential inaugurations, the I-85 fire and repair, Disney Plus launching, Notre Dame Cathedral burning and being restored, Sears going out of business, and even Saudi Arabia allowing women to drive. That's how long it's been. Since Beasley's big year, the Falcons have drafted 13 defensive linemen or outside linebackers, and none of them have broken the 10-sack mark. That's why, if Leonard Floyd pulls it off, it's not just impressive, it's historic. And not just for the Falcons. If he gets to 10 sacks in 2025, he'll become only the second player in franchise history over 33 years old to do it, joining John Abraham. Across the entire NFL, it's a short list of 33-plus-year-old pass rushers who have hit double-digit sacks in recent years. Kyle Van Noy, 2023, J.J. Watt, Brandon Graham, Cam Hayward, and Julius Peppers back in 2017. So, can Floyd make history? That's the big question. Falcons fans, do you think he'll reach 10 sacks in 2025? Let me know. Drop a yes or no in the comments. Either way, it's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out for the Georgia native as he returns home for what could be the final chapter of his NFL career. His mom, for one, couldn't be more excited about it. Leonard Floyd shared a touching moment about his homecoming, saying his mom was more excited than he was when he got the call. She even cried. And the best part? She's been a Falcons fan all along, tailgating for the team even when Floyd was playing elsewhere. What stood out in Floyd's press conference was how quickly he made his decision. The moment his agent told him Atlanta made an offer, he was in. No hesitation, no second thoughts. That says a lot about his belief in what Raheem Morris and the Falcons are building. And belief is exactly what fans need in the offseason. With no games to watch, all the hope rests on draft picks, free agent signings, and trades. Seeing a Super Bowl winning veteran like Floyd reunite with his former defensive coordinator, that's a good sign. So what does this Falcons defense look like with Floyd in the mix? Outside of him and David Onyemata, there's still plenty of competition. Guys like Arnold Ebiketie, Lorenzo Carter, and rookie Braylon Trice will battle for snaps. But who's to say Trice can't push Ebiketie for a starting role, or that someone like Kentavious Street won't work his way up the depth chart? There's going to be plenty of position battles through OTAs, minicamp, and training camp. In the secondary, the Falcons have a solid group with A.J. Terrell, Clark Phillips III, Jesse Bates III, Jordan Fuller, and Mike Hughes. They brought back Hughes in free agency and added Fuller, a proven starter from the Rams and Panthers. These signings create flexibility. Heading into free agency, Atlanta's biggest needs were pass rush, cornerback, and safety. They've now addressed all three, which means they don't have to reach for a specific position in the draft. That's why the Falcons can now be patient at pick number 15. If an elite cornerback like Terrion Arnold or Quinion Mitchell is still on the board, they don't have to panic and take an edge rusher just because they need one. Floyd isn't a long-term solution, but he gives Atlanta some breathing room to draft the best player available. One name flying up my draft board for the Falcons: Georgia linebacker Jalon Walker. At first, I wasn't sold. He seemed more like a traditional inside linebacker. But he's got versatility, playing inside, outside, and even defensive end. He's the type of player who could bring a true identity to this defense, something they desperately need. If he's still available at number 15, which is no guarantee, he could be a perfect pick. Walker is a tone setter, and that's exactly what this defense is missing right now. Jalon Walker is a playmaker, plain and simple. Look at his numbers from 2024, especially once he became a full-time starter for Georgia. Like every top-tier Bulldogs defender, he's built like he came straight out of a football lab. His versatility and Swiss Army knife skill set make him an intriguing option for any defense, but especially for the Falcons, who need impact players more than they need to fill a specific position. Right now, Atlanta isn't in a spot to get picky about roles. They need game changers. If Walker ends up being more of a traditional linebacker with some pass rush responsibilities, similar to Caden Ellis, so be it. What matters is that they get high-level talent. This defense needs difference makers, guys who can make Pro Bowls, not just fill a gap. If Walker is a player who sticks around for the next decade and dominates, it won't matter whether he fits the ideal scheme today. The Falcons should take the best defensive player available and build from there. So who should Atlanta take at number 15? Initially, I had Will Johnson as my top choice, but I might need to rethink that. My updated ranking? Jalon Walker first, then Johnson, followed by a trio of pass rushers: Mykel Williams, Mike Green, and James Pierce Jr. That order changes almost daily as I watch more film and gather more information. One day, I'm high on one guy. 2 days later, I've flipped my rankings again. That's just how the draft process works. With that in mind, let's hear from you. Who do you want the Falcons to take at number 15? Drop your picks in the comments.